Dear guests, welcome to this virtual presentation on our this 2020 publication, Don't Lose Your Coin, Investigating Security Practices of Cryptocurrency Users. My name is Froehlich and I'm the corresponding author for this publication. My co-authors are Felix Gutjahr and Professor Florian. In this brief talk, I want to walk you through the method, the findings and the implications of our research. If you pick up a newspaper today, blockchain and cryptocurrency will most likely be one of the buzzwords you find in them. Practitioners from both academia and research agree that there is a potential for blockchain as a technology to democratize not just money, but potentially economies and societies as a whole. In the past years, research has been lagging behind practice in this field. But in recent years, it has been picking up, and I'm more than excited to see the new insights we will see in 2020. But taking a step back and looking at the reality, there are about 31 million Bitcoin wallets out there today. We can use this as a proxy to blockchain, as cryptocurrency is the one killer use case that's out there at the moment. Comparing this to 7.5 billion people today on our planet, this amounts to a tiny fraction of just 0.4%. So if we talk about blockchain or cryptocurrencies democratizing money, we need to realize that we are not there yet and that we actually leave behind the majority of people as of now. And therein lies the opportunity for HCI research to ask the question why only a tiny fraction of people actually engage with the technology as of now. The guiding question for this research was, what strategies do cryptocurrency users deploy to securely manage their cryptocurrencies? And we approached this question exploratively. We first analyzed online forums, derived the question catalog from it, conducted semi-structured interviews with 10 participants, and then conducted a thematic analysis following the 6-step process laid out by Clark and Brown. From this, themes on motivation, risk perception, and coin management tool usage emerged. Starting with motivation, we found financial interest to be the most prevalent motivator in our sample. Users want to use cryptocurrencies as investment and as a store of value, but also they would like to spend it more like real money as a means of trade. Ideological interest and technological interests are as well prevalent. Ideological interest, more referring to the idea of decentralization and expressed as skepticism towards central banks, for example, and technological interest as curiosity in the underlying technology, realizing that it is something new and wanting to explore and play with it. We also found that there are 3 fundamental risks users need to consider when dealing with cryptocurrencies that could lead to loss. The first is the risk of human error. Any mistake that could be caused by the user that leads to loss of cryptocurrencies. Forgetting a password, losing the mnemonic, discarding a hard drive with old keys on it, etc. The risk of betrayal denotes trust placed in a custodial service that is ultimately betrayed. In a scenario where, for example, the guardian takes off with the keys and leaves the user with no access to recover their funds. And third, there's the risk of malicious attacks, referring to outsiders forcing their access to cryptocurrencies by either attacking self-management CMTs, custodial CMTs, or even physical attacks. And finally, we have a theme of coin management tool usage. Users use multiple coin management tools, self-managed and custodial, for different purposes in parallel. Backups are stored redundantly. Users are aware that losing access to cryptocurrencies really means losing access to them forever. They store it in multiple locations, in multiple copies, and using multiple methods. Mnemonic storage here being the most frequent one. And users are aware of usability challenges. Key management is perceived as bad usability and as a burden by many users. Self-managed coin management tools especially expose large parts of the underlying technology, being blockchain, to the users. and established naming concepts are perceived as bad metaphors. This leads to high technical entry barrier for new users who have to know the vocabulary and the technology behind it before they can actually use those systems. From this, we discuss implications, how motivation and risk perception changes coin management tool usage. One sentence you often hear in the cryptocurrency communities or practitioners is "not your keys, not your cryptos," denoting a distrust towards custodial services, where you're not sole owner of your keys. But from our sample, we saw that for many users this wasn't an issue. For them, the issue was a different one that can be better expressed as "not my keys, not my problem." They didn't want to deal with key management at all. And this discrepancy can be explained by using Dupree et al.'s model of security personas. Along motivation and knowledge on how to deploy security practice, you can derive different personas. The fundamentalist being one that has high motivation, high knowledge to deploy security measures, and the marginal concerned on the other side of the spectrum, the one with low motivation and low knowledge. Now, depending on where you are on this scale, you might perceive those different risks very differently for yourself. For somebody who knows how to deploy security mechanisms, the risk of human error is low. Versus, compared to that, the risk of betrayal seems high, so they gravitate towards self-managed coin management tools. For those without deep technological understanding or motivation to deploy security knowledge, the risk of human error outweighs the risk of betrayal, so those gravitate towards custodial coin management tool, where they don't have to deal with complicated key management, but it's convenient for them. Another dimension that's relevant is whether users want to use it as an asset or as a currency. As an asset, higher amounts of value are stored in cryptocurrencies as over a longer period of time. For them, security is more important than mobility. Disconnecting your coin management tools from the internet is therefore one way of reducing the risk of malicious attacks significantly. For another person who wants to use cryptocurrencies as a means of trade, however, mobility is more important than security. Similar to cash in your pocket, it's small amounts they just want to have ready when you want to buy or spend something. So they gravitate towards connected coin management tools, potentially even in the browser. From this, we propose a model to open up discussion on how to better design systems for cryptocurrencies. On the one hand, we transpose the exposure to the internet on the y-axis. On the other hand, we have on the x-axis the exposure to key management. And using this model, we propose 3 design implications that can be used to design better systems, better cryptocurrency systems tomorrow for a broader range of users. Pick your target group. There is not just one cryptocurrency users, but a range of them. Design for asset or currency. These are 2 different use cases, in fact, and also seek understanding of non-users and not just users that today are already using existing systems. Our research has limitations, specifically being an exploratory study with 10 participants. We therefore want to move into the future by building on the qualitative results of this paper and quantitatively testing the assumptions of how internal risk evaluation influences the choice of coin management tools. We also want to build up on the security and privacy attitudes or personas Dupree et al. Suggested and build a measurement tool to actually reliably measure the security and privacy attitudes of larger numbers of people. This could be valuable for research well beyond cryptocurrencies. If these are interesting to you, I think collaboration makes HCI a really great field to work in. So I would love to chat with you. Just shoot me an email at froehlich@cdtm.de and I will be happy to reach out to you. This being said, Thank you very much for listening to this presentation.